What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sports Minute. I am Ace, and of course, this is none other than my co-host, Mr. J Mac. J Mac, how are you doing tonight?
Not too bad. Like I said, been a long week. Umpired the game tonight. Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy,
all right.
crazy stuff.
Well, well, we definitely do have some fun topics for you tonight. I know that you see up on your screen that one of our topics, that we talked about, Bam Adebayo and his 83 points. I completely understand that this happened like a week ago, but the reason why I felt like it's something that needed to be talked about because there were some people out there that said that you needed to put an asterisk next to Bam Adebayo's 83 points. So, J Mac, before we get inside the numbers and everything of Bam Adebayo's 83-point game compared to Kobe Bryant's 81-point game, tell me your first initial thoughts when you hear people say asterisk next to Bam Adebayo's 83-point game.
Asterisks are stupid. Um, you could put them in a bunch of different stuff in sports. They're just dumb overall. It happened. We just have to celebrate that it happened, or not celebrate it happened. Whatever anyone wants to do. But asterisks are dumb. It was the time, it's like in baseball when they're talking about asterisks on how many home runs you hit during the steroid era. Well, guess what? That was what was happening in baseball at the time, and they weren't doing anything that was considered illegal at the time. So putting an asterisk on any of that is just dumb.
Yeah, so if we really break into the overall numbers now between Kobe's 81-point game, Bam Adebayo's 83-point game. So when you look at Kobe's game, he had 46 shots. He went 28 of 46. He went 7 of 13 from the three-point range. On his free throws, he shot 18 of 20. He had 6 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. Now, the Lakers trailed by 18 points in the third quarter. In the second half, Kobe Bryant scored 27 points in the third quarter and 28th in the fourth, totaling 55 points after halftime. Now, so you hear that 46 shots, 28 of 46 with 20 free throws. Now, you look at Bam Adebayo's game. He went 20 of 43, 7 of 22 from three-point range, and he shot 36 free throws and went 36 of 43. So people were talking about how Miami's his teammates were purposely missing free throws and missing shots to get the rebound to throw it out to Bam so he would get fouled. And so that's why they're like, you have to put an asterisk next to it because they were purposely trying to get him the record.
Did it work?
Right? Yeah, it flat out did work. And then Adebayo's response to it was he said, I know the game was a blowout. I understand that. He said, but it's not my fault that the coach left me in the game with a blowout. He said if the coach didn't want me to play, he would have taken me out.
I mean, there's probably some truth to that. Just makes a good point. I don't know, what else to say about that, but that's, yeah.
Now, let me ask you this: do you feel like that's something ethical to do? If you're winning in a blowout game and you're trying to maybe get a guy a record there, do you think it's still ethical to keep that guy in, to keep him shooting in a game when you're up by like 20?
I guess it depends on the significance of the game. If I'm pushing for a playoff spot, I'm probably going to be a little more about not taking my foot off the gas. it's a regular season game, the 30th game of the year, and you're pretty handling the game. Like, I don't know. I just, people talk just to, they're talking for clicks. It's like Charles Barkley says, we're not here to talk for clicks. This is dumb. But the fact that we even have to talk about this is just stupid. It's
right. No, I get it. It was just a reason why I brought it up, because people were making a big deal about it, which is
I get why it's brought up, but it's so do we put an asterisk on Nolan Ryan's career because he didn't follow the pitch counts? Like, he's throwing 180 balls, he's throwing 180 pitches a game back in the day. The guy's 42 years old throwing a no-hitter, pitching 165 pitches. Does that mean that one doesn't really count? Like, come on. What are we even doing here? Talking about he did this. Guess what? He shot 43 free throws. That means he got fouled like 21 times or 22 times in the game. Well, good for him. Like, if he figured it out and could draw the foul, what the hell does it matter?
Yeah, one of my points that I was trying to say too is you can be fouled as many times as you need to. You can shoot as many shots as you need, but guess what? You still have to make it. You still have to make it. That doesn't mean you're going to make it every time. So it's your job, even if you get fouled or shoot, you have to make it. So it's not his fault, right? That his team was purposely missing shots to get him the ball. They wanted to see him break the record. So kudos on that. So that was the only reason why I want to talk about the Bam Adebayo 83 points. And I know that we really, really want to talk about some NFL free agency. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this overall, because this is probably something that we have probably never seen and probably won't see for a long time. So you saw the Dolphins trade away Jalen Waddle because the Broncos finally made their first big move of free agency, finally getting their first outside free agent by trading for Jalen Waddle. Now that the Broncos have traded for Jalen Waddle, the Dolphins are now on the hook for $170 million worth of dead cap space. Unheard of, something I've never seen before. What is your thoughts on what the Dolphins are doing with all this dead cap space?
What did I hear it called earlier? The March for Arch.
The March for Arch.
I think that's where they're headed. I feel bad for Malik Willis. Like, you sign him there, and now you got nothing. You got nothing.
Yeah, his biggest receivers is Washington and Tutu Atwell. That's his top two guy. He does have A-Chain in the backfield, which the Dolphins are saying A-Chain is not for trade. But at what point in time, when the Dolphins are really, really struggling offensively, do they say, okay, A-Chain is now on the trade block?
Yeah, I shared something about how terrible that franchise was a couple days ago. Let's see if I can find it now, because we forget. Like, we talk about how crappy well, let's just be honest. We talk about how shitty some other teams are and some other franchises that we can always bring up and say that they're at the bottom of the league. Well, let's just for a minute talk about the Miami Dolphins. And the last time the Miami Dolphins won a playoff game, okay, LeBron James was 16 years old. Tom Brady had 4 career touchdown passes. The Nokia 3310, the brick phone, was the best-selling phone in the world for cell phones. And this one Wikipedia didn't even exist.
And that's and that is absolutely crazy.
If we talk about other, I mean, that's just another example of why they're so terrible. That they're awful, and I don't even know what else to say. Like, it's at that point. They are a terrible franchise.
But I do agree with you when you start saying that you feel bad for Malik Willis. That was my first thought. Was that when all this started happening, I was like, you're Malik Willis. You want to go to a spot to where you go, yes, he's going to pretty much be the starter. We know that. But he's probably going in and thinking, cool, I can throw to Jalen Waddle, I can throw to Tyreek Hill. Then all of a sudden, boom, Tyreek, he's gone. Jalen Waddle, he's gone. And all of a sudden you're like, well, this sucks. Now all of my receiving core is now gone. So you spent all this money on me to throw to guys like Waddle, and I don't have them anymore. So
I wonder how much money he's going to pay for a doctor to find something wrong with him so they can void the contract.
Right, that's right.
I think that, do you blame him at this point? Like,
no.
Yeah,
no.
He's great. He's great on the RPO, but you can only do that so many times before a defense catches up. Like, you're going into a game again. If you're a defensive coordinator going into a game against the Dolphins next year, you're going to be like, we just don't let Malik Willis run the ball because we know he's got no one to throw it to.
Yeah, pretty much. That's it. Or you either stop him or you stop A-Chain. That's your biggest thing.
So wait, Willis, take away the run and the screen pass. Like, that's it. That's what you have to do to beat the Dolphins next year.
Yeah, the Dolphins are going to be in for a very, very long season. Now, speaking of trades, so we also knew that the Dolphins traded away Fitzpatrick, Minka to the Jets. Now, I don't know if you saw Fitzpatrick's actual interview. So when he was interviewed as a Jet, they came in and they go, "Hey, so what was your thoughts on when you got traded to the Jets?" And Fitzpatrick was like, it is what it is. It was a decision that the Dolphins made, and they traded me there. He's like, I'm here. I don't know what you want me to say. So it kind of shows that he wasn't too really enthused about getting traded to the Jets.
Yep. I mean, what is there to say? And I get Malik Willis not wanting to sign with the Jets. Like, that's career suicide, but the Dolphins did him dirty.
Yeah. They did. I mean, they did him dirty, and then and Fitzpatrick again, of course, going to the Jets. That was kind of funny in itself because the Jets get Geno Smith. Okay, big freaking deal. All right, so Geno Smith is going to be their quarterback. Last year, the Jets had freaking Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor. We know how the Justin Fields experiment worked well with the Jets. It didn't work well at all. And Tyrod Taylor being the quarterback for the Jets, that didn't work well at all either. And so now you actually see that the Chiefs actually traded a 6th-round pick to the Jets to get Justin Fields. And when Justin Fields got traded to the Chiefs, there was actually reports out there saying there was multiple teams that were attempting to trade for Justin Fields, and Justin Fields chose to go to Kansas City.
I mean, Justin Fields he's a gadget player, right? Like, he's going to give you that change of pace Mahomes is going to fling the ball all over the yard, but you bring in Justin Fields, you got a chance at an RPO. You're going to get that 1 or 2 yards you need on a third down. He can give you that. So I don't think it's a bad move. I don't think. Justin Fields throwing the ball is terrible. Let's just be honest. In one game last year, we had more yards passing than Justin Fields did. He had like -10 in one game last year. So combined, we had more yards in a game. It was awful. But he does give you that change of pace where you can bring in a guy, run an RPO, and now that they have Kenneth Walker to go with that on an RPO, I can see why they made the move.
Yeah. Now I know their thinking is because they're not saying if Patrick Mahomes is going to be exactly ready for the regular season when it starts. So they were saying that if they go out, they get Justin Fields, they can kind of right the ship until Patrick Mahomes is available to come back. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I just don't know if Justin Fields is that guy in that offense that can come out and get you those wins when Patrick Mahomes is not there.
Yeah. Can he run a scout team, though? Can he at least give them what they need from a scout team? I would say that. But throwing the ball is not going to be like throwing the ball is not he's not the answer. That's for sure.
No, but if Mahomes, let's say Mahomes misses the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then you're like, okay, our guy is going to be Justin Fields. Justin Fields has to be that guy. He's got to fill in for the first 2 or 3 weeks because Mahomes isn't back yet. You're having to rely on Justin Fields to at least get you at least a win or 2 in the first 3 weeks. Is Justin Fields capable of doing that with this offense in KC?
He did it in Pittsburgh, but that's a Pittsburgh defense, so we'll see. Like if the defense plays good, he's probably got a chance at winning a game or 2. But it remains to be seen. But he's definitely better than some of the other options out there. There's not a lot of good options at a backup quarterback. There's just not.
No, and so that's where some teams are like really, really hurting right now. Is they're really, really worried about what if their starter gets hurt? Who do they turn to? And that's where it's like, it sucks because a lot of your backups. Now, I don't know if you saw today too, but the Philadelphia Eagles actually traded Carolina, and the Eagles got Andy Dalton now. Andy Dalton's going to come in and be their backup quarterback.
I don't think that's a bad move. I don't think Andy Dalton's a terrible quarterback. I know everyone's talked about it for years. I think he can run an offense. I think he can keep you afloat. I think he can win you a couple of games. I don't think that's a terrible decision, and I don't think it's a terrible decision in Philly because you're set at backup. It's just the way I see it. I don't think that's a terrible move on their part. And you get him for what, a 7th round pick, and then there's no dead cap space on Carolina's side.
Yeah.
I think
why not?
I think you're in trouble if you're Carolina. Because we know Bryce Young's not going to make it through the full season. Now what's your backup plan?
Yeah, right. No, but I think because Carolina got to the playoffs last year I will agree, Carolina getting to the playoffs last year was a complete fluke thing, okay? Because they didn't even win their last game. They had to rely on the Falcons winning in order for them to get in. So I guess you could say, yes, Bryce Young's been to the playoffs. He's been there. He's done it. But is he really the answer in Carolina? If he starts taking that step back like he did in year season 1 or 2, you don't have anybody to turn to now.
Okay, was that Carolina earning a playoff spot, or was that Tampa Bay not wanting to play in the playoffs? Like that. I mean,
Okay,
Tampa Bay collapsed. They were
they
what,
did.
6-1 at one point?
Yeah, because if you think about it too, towards the beginning of the season, you can say through week 8, like Baker was considered one of the front runners for MVP. Like people were talking about MVP Baker. He's playing at that level. And then Baker did what he does. He Bakered. Is basically what happened. And he came back down to earth, and then the Buccaneers missed out. Now I understand there was a few games in there that, Baker didn't have his receivers. Godwin was out, Evans was out, Emeka Abuka was out. But when they were healthy, they still really weren't even playing that good.
Yeah, I mean, they just lost the season. Like, there's no other way to say that.
And then there's rumors swirling right now, and I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on this. There's 3 teams currently that are in the hunt, that are trying to get Joe Flacco. In your opinion, do you think this is a smart move for teams still to go out and get Joe Flacco? Because he is, I believe he's like right around 40. So it's like, is this going to be a good move for teams to bring him in and be a backup quarterback?
I mean, it's not the worst option out there. Bring in veteran leadership, a guy that's been to the playoffs before, made a championship run, can read any defense, can play on any offense. Like, yeah, we know he's going to be a statue in the pocket. Like, he's not running. We know he's not running.
Yeah, yes.
Right, you can
he's not.
You're playing against him, you could take that out of the defensive playbook. Like, you're not going to have to worry about containing him. You're not going to need a linebacker contain on any play. We know that. But it's not the worst option in the world. Honestly, Joe Flacco's the reason Joe Burrow came back last year at the end of last season and had the Bengals right to the last week fighting for a playoff spot. I mean, I'd be curious to know who the 3 teams are. Like, if I'm Joe Flacco, I'm definitely gonna I'm not going to I'm not going to the Jets. I'm not going to Arizona. I'm not doing that.
No, it was the Jets that were considering to bring him in. Okay, it was the Jets. Then the Bengals were also being like, do we bring him back as a backup for Joe Burrow again? And then I believe the other team, if I heard right, I believe the other rumor was that the Saints were trying to bring him in as more of a mentor quarterback for Tyler Shook.
I don't think that's a bad decision on the Saints' part. Look, you can say whatever you want about the Saints from last year, but they had some terrible quarterback play in the first 10 weeks of the season. Any time that you're going to hand the reins to Spencer Rattler, like, I don't even know what the hell they were thinking going into the season, trying that experiment. But the last 7 weeks, the Saints were one of the most competitive teams in the league when they had Tyler Shough in at quarterback.
If Tyler Shough plays that whole season, they probably win the South.
Yeah, for sure. They win 10 games. I bet you they win 10 games if Tyler Shough plays all season. Last year.
And they win the South. So that to me, I'm like, that so I think the Saints made the right call. I think that that Shook is definitely the quarterback of the future for the Saints. Now, is it going to be that sophomore slump? I don't know. We're going to definitely find out. Now, the last kind of team that I was going to bring up in free agency on my end, unless you had another team to talk about, I just wanted to mention the Buffalo Bills. The reason why I wanted to mention the Buffalo Bills is because we kind of know how, I guess, kind of up and down they were last year in a way. Like, we know that Josh Allen played really well. We understand that, they got Josh Allen, that number one guy, Jay Moore, this year. However, they were so cap restricted this year, they lost a lot of guys on the defensive side of the football. So, because of that, if we were going to play the game of pass, hold, or fold, and if I asked you pass, hold, or fold, where you're saying pass because you're not sure, hold, yes, it's true, or I'm out. The Buffalo Bills are going to be a borderline playoff team next year.
I would say hold on that. But the only reason I don't say pass is because it's them and the Patriots in the AFC East. Name another team in the AFC East that's going to have any shot at making a wild card spot.
Definitely not the Jets. Definitely not the Dolphins.
Exactly my point. So it's them and the Patriots. So whatever comes down into that series, whoever beats up on the teams they're supposed to beat up. So yeah,
I think the Bills can be good enough offensively. It's the defensive part that I'm going to be worried about the most with Buffalo going into next year. That is going to be my biggest concern. That's why I'm saying I don't know if their defense is going to be good enough to get them to where they need to go. That's why I said I believe they're going to be a borderline playoff team. I get a step back.
sure.
Was there any teams in free agency that you wanted to hit upon?
The quarterback carousel continues in Minnesota.
Kyler Murray, yes.
I mean, since the Gus Farrat days, they really have not had a franchise quarterback. Gus Farrat wasn't even a franchise quarterback. Like, the last franchise quarterback they've really had was Dante Culpepper. Like, he's the only one who was there for multiple seasons. The carousel just continues for them. It's bad. You know your organization is terrible, right? When you signed a 41-year-old Brett Favre and he was named the third best quarterback in your franchise's history, and he was at the end of his career.
Now, I think when it comes to it, though, I think the one reason why you might hear some flack from a few Vikings fans is because when you're saying that the last great quarterback or good quarterback that the Vikings had was Culpepper, but then some Vikings fans might say you're forgetting about Kirk Cousins, the Kirk Cousins era.
Forgetting about who?
Yeah, the Kirk Cousins era. He made them competitive. But
and he won how many playoff games in Minnesota?
I believe he won one. If I remember right, I think he won one.
Cool. And there's another guy whose name is Case Keenum. And how many did he win?
He actually won two because he took them all the way to the NFC.
Okay, so next subject.
Yeah.
Like, cool.
I just know that some, even when I've talked about this before, Vikings fans have thrown out stats and they go, well, Kirk stats. It's like, stats don't mean nothing. If you're not winning, cool, you can be the best quarterback in the regular season, but you can't do anything in the playoffs. That doesn't That doesn't mean nothing. Now, what it tells me right now with Minnesota signing Kyler Murray, what it tells me is what we've kind of figured all along. Minnesota's not sold on JJ McCarthy. Forever,
No
there was a lot
shit.
of debate. Well, no, there was a lot of debate saying, is JJ McCarthy the quarterback of the future for the Minnesota Vikings? Well, we can obviously see they're not sold on McCarthy.
No, not at all. Like, there's it's really really hard to root for Seattle because of the rivalry with Green Bay in the playoffs, but
Mm-hmm.
this year was almost like I had to, because it's like Sam Darnold just sticking it, like breaking it off in Minnesota's ass of like, it was me last year that brought this team to where they were.
It
I
was,
don't,
yeah.
I don't know what else to say. Like, Minnesota swung and missed hard by not re-signing Sam Darnold.
Yeah, because they thought JJ McCarthy was going to be the guy, and then they found out he wasn't, and now they're going to go with Kyler Murray. Can Kyler Murray be that guy that
No,
gets Minnesota over the hump? I don't
no.
think so, but there has been people that have actually picked, and I know this is going to be a complete hot take for people who have said this, but there are people that have picked the Vikings now to actually win the North because they went out and got Murray, and they're pairing him with Addison and Jefferson and Hawkinson and Aaron Jones, and yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
cool. I mean, we all know why. We all know why the Vikings are purple, right?
yeah. They choke every year.
I mean, if you had been choking for 65 years, you'd be purple too. So,
So that's why I feel you. I don't think that Kyler Murray takes them over that hump like people have thought it might. They might be a wild card team, but I don't think he can take them to a Super Bowl. I just I just don't see it. He hasn't panned out as that number one overall pick like he was supposed to. He just hasn't been that guy so far. Was that the only other team that you want to talk about in free agency?
um, I mean, it's the only one that comes to mind. I'm sure there's other teams that have made everyone made not everyone. There's some teams that made some good moves, and then some teams you're still trying to figure out like, what the hell are you doing. Um, but I think the march for Arch is very very prevalent with some teams. You could tell that that's maybe what they're trying to do. Um, yeah, I just um, Chicago's losing everybody. Everyone keeps signing everywhere else or retiring.
Right, yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen with Chicago this year. It's really hard to say. I think the most interesting division this year is probably going to be the AFC West. I mean, the Chiefs took a step back
Yeah.
last year. The Broncos took a huge step forward. The Chargers are always good. And honestly, as much as I despise the Raiders, and I have for a long, long time. I can't deny the fact that they made some good offseason moves. And so
They signed a lot of players.
I think that everyone in that division has a shot at making the wild card, and everyone has a shot at winning the division. I think it's going to be a fun season to watch the AFC West this year.
Well, so I would say that yes, the AFC West is going to be a great division. It's going to be very, very competitive. The only thing is when you're saying that all teams can compete for the AFC West crown, the only team that I don't think they're good enough yet to compete for that crown in the AFC West is the Raiders. I think they can compete for a wild card, but I don't think they compete for the AFC West crown just yet. I don't think they have enough yet.
Still going to be a fun season to watch, I think.
Yeah. No, it will be. And I believe even the NFC West is going to be one of those divisions again that's going to be very, very good. The 49ers got better. The Rams got better.
the top three teams in the West are going to be good to watch. Arizona's not
Yeah.
going to be fun to watch.
No, but the three teams that were good last year are going to be good again. So it's going to come down again to they're going to beat the crap out of each other, and it's going to be who comes out on top in those games is going to essentially be the winner of the West.
And you know who? I mean, he's under contract in Arizona. But if I was any team right now and I needed a solid backup, I hands down would trade for Jacoby Brissett.
Oh yeah,
Jacoby Brissett will go out there and throw the ball for you 75 times and doesn't even care. Like he just goes out there and plays football. Like dude had 47 completions in a game last year.
Yeah, because he threw it like 75 times. It was crazy.
Those are Matthew Stafford Detroit Lion numbers. Like it's just insane.
Yeah, because I think we talked about it that one year to where Stafford threw the ball like 700 and some times in his season.
714 times in a 16-game season. Like
yeah.
He averaged like 45 passes a game. It's crazy. But Brissett would do it. If you gave Brissett a playbook and said, you get to throw the ball 60 times and we'll see what happens, he'd be like, let's go. Let's go do it.
Really not. So he's not an elite quarterback. He's going to get you some wins. But he is that backup option that if your starter goes down, you can bring whole games. And he's gonna keep your team competitive. I guarantee that dude's gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean Brissett, the guy's just a gamer. Like he's one of those guys that's gonna hang around forever because he's just a gamer. Like he'll sign with a team. You tell him you get 3 starts this year. He's going to go out and throw for 400 yards and throw the ball 40 times in those 3 games. Like he just doesn't care.
He kind of reminds me of a way of a Jameis Winston and a Ryan Fitzpatrick. He reminds me of
Ryan Fitzpatrick is one thing. Jameis Winston is a national treasure, man. I mean, Jameis Winston is by far and hands down, and it's not even close. I couldn't even give you a close second. Outside of any player that's ever played for Green Bay, Jameis Winston is by far my favorite player in the history of the NFL. Like the dude, like I just think if they wanted to make a rule in the league that said that there's an all-time quarterback, like your quarterback goes down, you should be able to just sign Jameis Winston to start your next game.
Right. He's a funny dude. He's a funny dude. And yet again, he's a guy that'll throw the ball 50 times a game if you ask him to. He's going to throw for 300 and some yards. He might throw three interceptions in a game, but he's going to throw for over 300 yards.
I mean, you can never count the guy out. Yeah, everyone talks about his 30 interception season, but what they don't talk about is he threw the ball 650 times that year and threw for 5,000 yards and 31 touchdowns. Like they just handed him the ball every game and said, go throw it and see what happens. And he did.
Yeah, we'll probably never quite see another season to where you have 30 plus interceptions in a season.
You won't. I mean,
you might not see that one for a while, but
nah. Teams are too quick to pull guys now. You won't see that again, but yeah, you won't see it again. But Jameis Winston, it should be a requirement. Like he gets to do all your pregame speeches. Like the guy's a national treasure, man. I can't wait. I love watching him play, but I can't wait till he retires and someone hires him as a color analyst. Like the things that are going to come out of that guy's mouth when he's calling a football game, I will tune in every week, no matter what game it
is. Yeah, he's a. People say that he's such a great dude, and he's such. And I know you probably saw one of his. It was a game that he was a quarterback, in Cleveland, and he's doing a game, and he's doing the and he's doing that, and then eventually he's like, "God damn, somebody just jump offside, shit!" and he's
Yeah.
like getting frustrated, like somebody jump off sides, and I'm like, that's just the type of guy who Winston is, and it's like it's freaking great. Um, but so going away from that, I know we are going to go into something that we kind of want to talk about, and we kind of, because last week, we had mentioned a little bit about the World Baseball Classic and kind of some teams that we knew could kind of make a run. Venezuela, we knew had a very, very deep team. So I knew when Venezuela was taking on the USA, I was like, well, I am cheering for USA, but I kind of had a feeling because of how deep Venezuela was that I'm like, I don't know. I think Venezuela is going to win the championship. It was a it was a good game. 3-2. Bryce Harper goes deep. Yay! With a 2-run bomb to tie it up, and then Venezuela was able to basically score in the ninth to take the lead and win it. So, what was your overall thoughts of the championship game?
It's a great baseball game. It's just fun to watch. You're down 2-0. You got one of your premier guys come up and hit a 2-run homer. And of course, I'm not a Bryce Harper fan because he plays for the Phillies. But I will tell you, in that moment, I was probably just excited as any Philly fan has ever been when he's hit a home run, because I was like, dang, that's the USA. That's America.
Yeah.
That is I don't think people realize a lot of these players don't have. They're playing for their country. They're playing for where their home is, and it can't be enough said about that. Yeah, you play in the major leagues, and that's one thing, but like you're playing for everybody in your country. Everyone in your country gets to watch you on a worldwide stage play baseball. And going away from the championship game, my team that I said it was an upstart team and going to make a deep run, Italy, they finished in 4th place. So I said Italy was going to be good, and they were.
They did surprise a few teams. I mean, Italy was, I will say, was that surprising team. However, there was actually quite a few people that had Japan to peg to make a very, very, very deep run also. Like people thought that Japan could be one of those teams that could make the finals. And I'm like, I don't know. I knew they were a good team, but I didn't think Japan was going to be good enough.
Right.
How, as much as I was still cheering for USA, I still, because of being a Braves fan and Ronald Acuna Jr. being on Venezuela, that's why I was like, okay, Venezuela wins. You kind of feel good for Ronald Acuna. That was one reason why I was like, oh, okay, cool. He wins the championship with that. So I was okay with that.
Yeah, I think so.
So there wasn't too much more to really recap there, other than it was a great game. Now, in this officials timeout one that we're going to talk about here, it's hard to play the video because for whatever reason they're like, oh, don't play the video, like we get warnings and stuff like that when we play certain videos. So to kind of explain what this was, and then J-Mac, we can kind of talk about it and things like that. So the batter, okay, he hits the ball. The ball's now popped up. Okay, it's popped up towards the pitcher's mound. So in this case, of course, the pitcher will typically back away and allow the first baseman or second baseman or somebody to run in and make that catch, because the pitcher will like back away and say, okay, somebody else come and catch that. So in this case, the first baseman runs over to the pitcher's mound and attempts to make the catch. However, he misjudges the ball. The ball comes down. He doesn't touch the ball at all. The ball comes straight down, hits the pitcher's mound, bounces up, and rolls foul. And the umpire's like, foul ball. Then there was kind of a breakout to where everyone's like, how's that a foul? Shouldn't that be fair? No, that is not a fair ball.
Nope. That's that's one situation, but that's why everyone always wonders, why do umpires wait so long to call a foul ball? Well, because the ball could come back fair at any time, and if it comes back fair, if it's rolling down the line and it comes back fair before first or third base, like, it's a fair ball. I can't call foul the second it hits foul because it might be fair. And so, yeah, I get it sucks. You run all the way to first base and then you got to run back to the plate and bat again. But it's the way it has to be. That's the way you have to call that play. And that call was absolutely correct. It did not pass one of the bases in fair territory, so it is not a fair ball.
Yeah, so for anybody who's wondering what would have made it a fair ball is that if the first baseman would have made contact with the ball, if he would have had it and it hit his glove and bounced off and rolled foul, that would have been a fair ball. And
sure, I mean,
that would have been fair.
His glove, his finger, the tip of his hat, the lace of his shoe, brushing his leg as it went down, like, any of those things make it a fair ball. If it's touched by a fielder in fair territory, it's a fair ball. But not being touched and rolling foul makes it a foul ball. There's no other, like, that's it. That's the rule. That people ask interpretations of rules. I'm like, all right, well, that's the rule. No one touched it, and it didn't go past the baselines in fair territory. It's a foul ball. That's not hard to figure out.
No, it's really not. But in this case, there was a lot of debate to where people were debating back and forth going, well, because it was in the field of play and rolled foul, therefore it's fair. It's like, no, it is not a fair ball. Because the first baseman never made contact with the ball. So therefore, that is a foul ball. Because it rolled past third.
Sure, and even in the situation of runner on first and second, one out, you would think you would also think that that's an infield fly rule, but it is not. It has to be a fair ball to be infield fly.
Yes. Now, people will ask, like, typically, when do you call an infield fly? Well, typically, you'll call an infield fly if there's 0 outs or 1 out. And there can be a runner at first, there can be a runner at first and second, and or even first and third, and you will call an infield fly. And the reason you call infield flies is because of the simple fact that you don't want the infielder to drop the ball on purpose to then pick it up and turn that double play. That is what the infield fly is for. In this case, this is not considered an infield fly. Because if you look at the actual definition of what they say an infield fly has to be, the fielder has to be camped under the ball. If the fielder is not camped under the ball, technically it is not an infield fly, because the infielder, it's almost like the infielder doesn't have to make a lot of movement for it. If he's right underneath it, it's an infield fly. But if the infielder has to move a distance in any direction, they're not going to call an infield fly, because you have to be able to be camped under it to be an infield fly.
Yeah, it's I believe the rule reads it's along the terms of ordinary effort. Ordinary effort is the ball is dropping into your glove from the sky while you're standing there. Ordinary effort is not going out, turning backwards, coming back, turning backwards again, and then catching the ball. That's not ordinary effort, and that's not an infield fly. So,
no, and that, yeah.
everyone wants to be an umpire. Everyone wants to know the rules, but guess what? When it comes down to it in the end, and no one wants to stand back there and make the calls, because guess what? It's not as easy as it looks.
No, it's not. And so that's why with situations like that, like you have to know those rules because that can have a serious outcome in a game because if you have a runner on third with 2 outs in a game and the game's tied and that's the home team and the batter pops it up and the first baseman goes to catch it and he misses it, but it doesn't hit his glove and it rolls foul and you call a fair ball and that runner comes in and scores, you just blew a call that causes a huge outcome in the game because you just cost that team the game because you didn't know the rules of the game.
Sure. I mean, you know how many times I've been wrong? I've been wrong. I was
We've
wrong
all been
tonight.
wrong.
I'm sure I was wrong tonight on a couple of calls, but you just move on and you move past it. Like you can't dwell on it. And as a fan, I'm sorry. Listen, if I'm working behind the plate and you want to scream at me and tell me that pitch 4 pitches ago was a strike instead of a ball, I don't care. I don't give a shit what you have to say because I called it the way I saw it. And you're down the left field line 120 feet away or 150 feet away. Guess who had the best angle? I did, dumbass. I don't care.
Yeah. But that was the reason why I wanted to talk about this one tonight because of some of the, I wouldn't say outrage, but some of the controversy that it kind of caused because people were so confused on why it was called one way, and it's like just look at the rule book and you'll understand why it was called the way it was called.
Look, I have the 2026 baseball rule book right here, which is put out by the NFHS, which is the National Foundation of High School Sports. Like, this is the rule book right here. Let's pull up a rule and we can read it. I mean, cheese and rice, people. Like, it's not like they just get all these people together and they're like, here, go umpire a game and not know what you're doing. No, they give you the rule books, they put you through trainings, they give you all this stuff you can get to make the calls right. And you know what the problem is all of you that want to argue with the calls, you don't know the rules. You don't know them, whether you think you do or not. I've watched baseball for 40 years. Right. Did you read the rule book? Did you read the rule book? No, you didn't, because you don't know the rules. I know. I'm on a soapbox and I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's like, damn.
No,
It's officiating any sport. It's the same way. Like you don't actually know the rules.
no, and the thing is like for us, we can say that, we know most of the rules, but I will say there are times, even us that has been doing it for a while, there's still us that, we get out there, something happens, and it's like, I've never seen that before.
100 happens every single season.
You're like, you're like, I've never seen that. I got to figure out what the call is here. And so that's where you got to get together, and you're just like, as a crew, you're like, what do we do?
Well, hey, in fact, I'll give you one. Tuesday, I'm the field umpire, and then of course there's the plate umpire. So this kid hits a ball right down the third baseline, bounces off third base, fair ball, as we know. Call was correct. The ball bounces all the way over to the dugout, who one of the players from the batting team thought he called it foul and picked it up while it was still in play before the fielder could field it. Do you know, in doing as many games as I've done, I've never seen that happen before. And I was like, what the hell do we do? Because I don't know what call to make here. Someone touched a live ball that was I've never had anyone come out and touch a live ball outside of anyway.
Yeah. So
again, it's stuff you don't. So then what I would ask is, spectators, why don't you tell me what's the call? What's the right call? Guess what? You don't know because we didn't know either.
Yeah. So I would say if that happened to me, not ever seeing it happen, but what I would do in a situation like that is if somebody came from a dugout, and that's why I'm saying, and this, I could be completely wrong, but I'm saying I know what I would do in a situation like this because it becomes a dead ball. I'm going to award an extra base to those runners. And I'm going to say, you get those extra bases because you may have had that chance to get that extra base because it was going there. So I
Right.
might have done that.
I mean, I think that's where I was going to go with it, but then someone pointed out that it was the batting team's player that touched the ball. So I was like, well, now I don't know what to do because I'm going to reward them for their player grabbing the ball when it was a live ball still. So in the end, we're just like, well, the batter's out because of player interference, and you guys go back to your other, like, I don't know what else to do. So you go back to the bases you were at, and you're out. Like that's what we did. Someone else could have corrected me on that. I have no idea, but that's what we decided because there was nothing else. We didn't know what else to do, and you have to make that decision super quick. That's the other thing people don't get. We don't have instant replay. We don't have 40 guys sitting in an office in New York that can tell us what a rule interpretation is. No, we're out here doing a high school JV game, and we have, we're trying to get all the innings in a time restraint. We got to make a call. So we just get together and we're like, let's do this. And then we go with that. And we could have been completely wrong. We might have botched the call. I don't know what to tell you, but we got to make a decision. So that's what happened.
But as officials and referees, and umpires, calls can be botched. It happens all the time. Okay. It's part of what it is. It's part of the game.
It's part of the game.
So I really hope that everybody enjoys our officials timeout category when we talk about it, because I know for us it's been a lot of fun because we get to talk about these various situations that happen every week, and it's such a joy just to come out and kind of talk about these. So we are almost at that hour mark. So J-Mac, did you have any final things that you wanted to say?
I mean, just the official thing is like, we're not out there just to be these meanies out on the field and tell people that they're doing things wrong. We're trying to educate, make sports better. We're trying to keep things going. If you have the time, you have the desire, and you have the want, like, sign up, come out with us. We'll show you how everything works. I mean, sports, that's what we do, right? That's what sports do. They bring people together, and so let's do that. And the NCAA tournament is on. I suggest everybody watch that because that's the best playoff of the entire year is the NCAA tournament. And congratulations to Nebraska. I'll say so. Congratulations to Nebraska. It took them 87 tournaments for them to finally win a tournament game. Congratulations to them.
I will say I am already a little bit bitter about the bracket. Of course,
I haven't even checked mine, but
I'm a little bit bitter because, of course, the one time, right now the Badgers were seated at 5, and you freaking lose. It
happens every year.
I know, but that's just
5 and 12 is always that matchup where there's an upset every single year in the 5 and 12 matchup.
Every single year, there's always that. And so when I'm looking at that, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yep, Wisconsin's going to be that one team this year that I've got the high hopes for. They're my favorite team. We're going to, but not only that, you lose to freaking High Point. You lose by 1 to High Point, 83-82. That is crazy. But anyway, so that's gonna wrap it up for us. So thank you, J-Mac, for joining tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It's been another fun episode. We'll have another episode for you next week. So with that, everyone have a fantastic evening, and we will see you all very, very soon.
Sounds good.